Good morning. Dear friends, a big thank you to the organizers for this wonderful conference and to all of the speakers for their input. It is a great pleasure to address you today discussing such a current, urgent and imperative issue: the energy strategy of the European Union and the role that Greece can play in furthering it. It is no secret that the war in Ukraine, one that has been raging for 5 months now, has impacted dramatically the energy landscape, the energy security and sustainability of the world, and of course of Europe. Prior to the war, prior to President Putin's manipulation of energy prices and availability of oil and gas that resulted to the energy crisis we are experiencing now, EU's energy strategy was ambitious. We needed more green energy, we needed to curb emissions and transition to cleaner forms of energy with a net zero output by 2050. Today, the ambition is even greater as we face 3 major challenges: how to rapidly reduce energy dependence on Russia with a view to imposing an embargo on Russian oil and possibly gas that EU member states can support, how to build new partnerships with third countries around green tech and critical raw materials to protect European energy security in the long term, and how to implement the measures in the Fit for 55 package that can bring the European Green Deal to life. And of course, the said challenges spread out intersectorally and require significant investment in their own right, in infrastructure, in welfare support to help struggling households and businesses, and in political and diplomatic commitment. What is important to point out is that the European Union is rising up to the challenge of the looming energy security, and even with small, steady steps, it creates the fundamentals for a common European energy strategy. The Commission's Repower EU plan sets out significant milestones for a climate transition away from fossil fuels, and it was only a few days ago that the decision of the G7 that a holistic approach seems to sink in, not just in isolating Russia and the dependence from its oil and gas, but also to solidify cooperation on energy security and sustainability. I'm sure you heard on Tuesday the speech by the Executive Vice President of the European Commission, Mr. Timmermans, at the Brussels Forum, where these goals come together to enhance and create an energy-independent European Union that will invest in renewables, green hydrogen and alternative sources of energy, and build the necessary infrastructure to allow member states to reach the potential on energy security. Greece and the government of Κυριάκου Μητσοτάκη have been since day one focused and oriented on that goal, both on energy transition and climate change. Our country has been at the core countries of the European Union to promote legislation, strategic policy plans that today come at a great use. The investment in Alexandroupolis port, turning the area into an energy hub, the investment on LNG, the facilities, the policy and legislation of photovoltaics, the cooperation with Egypt, Bulgaria and Cyprus and Israel, as well as policies that support the everyday consumer and businessman, are just a few examples that demonstrate the readiness of our country. Of course, the path ahead is not easy. The vision set out in Repower EU is only the first step in transforming the EU's energy strategy. Its implementation will require a whole-scale renovation of European leaders' approach to climate and energy diplomacy. The EU needs a foreign policy strategy to manage all these efforts, to build and sustainably financing, and to manage the geopolitical dimension, to use diplomacy and sustainable adaptation. If the EU takes too long to strengthen the partnership with the African Union, this will heighten the risk of African economies falling prey to an extractive model that hampers the green transition, even as the rest of the world profits. Greece, with its strategic geopolitical location and strong relations with the Middle East and Africa, can and should be on the forefront of this energy foreign policy. At the same time, however, to support such an ambition, we must ensure a strong coordination between EU institutions in Brussels and member state capitals, as well as the third countries, between EU delegations and national embassies, to ensure that energy and climate diplomacy are central to the promotion of European interests abroad. To sum up, dear friends, today, more than ever, the stakes are high. The challenges that lie ahead are not easy, but are not insurmountable. It is with unity that we can overcome them. To achieve energy security and sovereignty, as well as the ambitious green goals of the climate change agenda, we need security, stability, and a strategic plan. Greece, as a key member state of the EU on the policy for green and sustainable future, and the bridge between EU and the Southeast neighborhoods, can contribute, can innovate, and above all, Greece can lead. Thank you very much for your attention.
Ευχαριστούμε πολύ την κυρία Μπακογιάννη. And now